the nutrition targets also were off track. We talked about obesity and overweight is also an issue for AU member states. As look at the table here, you look at the obesity, 0 countries are actually on track. We're not recording or taking data when it comes to adult male and female obesity. When it comes to the issue of under 5 stunting, we have 3 countries that are on track. Although as the African Union, we have the Malabo Declaration that commits us to invest more on nutrition issues. And as you can see, less than 10 countries are on track when it comes to stunting. And the issue of diabetes, the prevalence of diabetes in Africa is actually have risen and doubled. And one of the causes is related to the food that we eat. Next slide. So now where is the problem? The previous speakers have mentioned that, you know, now we're competing with processed foods that we see in our markets of today. We do have fast foods, I won't mention their names, where our children like to eat from there. You know, these foods, most of them have hidden sugar in it. Some of them, they have salt, you know, that is, and oils as well. And as you can see in the chart here, Africa, you know, this is increasing when it comes to the packaged food sales. That we are increased. 2017 report shows that nearly 80% of these foods are trending in our market. So the idea here is to ensure that we bring back our traditional foods, which is also rich and free from some of these hidden sugars or processed activities that we see in our today's food. Next slide, please. So now, when you look at what is there for us as AU member states or regions or partners, what can we do to address these issues? We do have existing frameworks and strategies that focus on nutrition and also promoting indigenous foods. Next slide, I think it should show, yeah, thanks. So at the continental level, which is the AU level, we have the Agenda 2063, which is the Africa that we want. And within that Agenda 2063, we have goal number 3, which talks about having a healthy and nourished citizens. Some of us will be here, some will be gone, because we have about how many years to go now? A lot of years to go. But the aim there is to ensure that we remain a healthy nation. Then we also have the Malabo Declaration. Malabo Declaration, our heads of states have committed to reducing the stunting to 10% by 2025. Within that declaration, we do have 17 indicators that speaks to the issues of nutrition and food security. Now, our country is reporting well when it comes to these indicators. The question is maybe. Next slide. We as NAPAD, as I mentioned in my beginning, we do work with different partners. For example, we work with EAT. EAT has actually written or launched a report on sustaining healthy diets and food production. So within this report, they also emphasize the issue of investing on planetary-based diets. And to us, we are here to also talk about indigenous foods. Like Madam Bibi had mentioned in her opening remarks, she mentioned that we should revisit our food system and ensure that we harvest from the wild and the water. So this shows that if we invest in our planetary-based diets or indigenous foods, we actually save more lives. As I mentioned in previous slides, that when it comes to global nutrition targets, we are not reporting well in obesity, or rather diabetes as well as on the rise. But if we invest on nutritional diets, we can actually save more lives. As you can see in session number 2, it says that 10.8 adult deaths will be saved if we improve our diets, and therefore by including our planetary-based diets or our plant-based diets in our daily diets. Next slide. Yeah, so when it comes to NAPAD, what is our approach, or what is NAPAD doing about promoting or advocating for indigenous foods? We recently developed a nutrition and food system strategy that also includes the emphasis of promoting natural diversity. When you look at goal number 3, which is the flagship on natural diversity, our idea here is to promote the knowledge on indigenous foods. And this is why we're having this side event today, is to promote indigenous foods. Next slide. Yes, so like Dr. Mpumuzo said in his presentation, we have to ensure that the indigenous foods is actually promoted from the farm to the fork. And that's why we're having chefs today to showcase what is actually needed, or how can we promote our indigenous foods by coming up with recipes that are rich in our own respective countries when it comes to indigenous foods. We also want to promote the food basket at household level as well as national level. So that is done, for example, through school feeding initiatives that we have in NEPAD, whereby we also want to boost the importance of having diets that have indigenous foods in it. We also want to promote and maintain local crop varieties. We have different crops in Africa. We have to promote our own respective local crops when it comes to having traditional foods in the table. And also harness the knowledge that we have. And that's why I'm here today to share knowledge on indigenous foods. We want to also increase awareness of indigenous foods by having innovative or multi-stakeholder approaches in terms of promoting or preserving our indigenous foods and adding value to what is local. Next slide. Yes, as NEPAD, we also work with the African Orphan Crops Consortium. This was actually founded in 2011 and is formed to raise the profile and knowledge on indigenous foods. Some call them unutilized foods or unutilized crops. So this is also done through a different African academic research institutes, such as the African Plant Breeding Academy, whereby they do genetic sequencing of the orphan crops. We have a lot of orphan crops that are not used. So we want to bring them back and do research and also work on the nutrient value of those local crops. And the idea is to ensure that we achieve 20% of rural diets. So we are here today, that's why we have the chefs to promote our rural diets. Next slide, please. And here we have examples of orphan crops in Africa. I won't go through them, but each and every country, as you can see, they have their own orphan crops. You look at Burkina Faso, there's okra there. We look at, which country can I mention again? There's also an issue of teff. We have an institution that really research on teff. And we'll have the Bambara groundnuts. We have a different institute that also promote and work on research on Bambara groundnut, how we can actually add value to it and make it presentable in our retails. Next slide, please. Now, we have examples that we want to share as NEPAD. Like I mentioned before, we now promote indigenous diets through school meals. For example, last year, we actually had a project that we're doing with FAO and One Food Program in terms of ensuring that even at school level, at primary level, for example, the kids also, they get used to eating indigenous foods during school meals. For example, in Ghana, they use okra soup with banku. So this is another way where we can actually preserve and promote our indigenous diets through a school feeding project. Also in Nigeria, also in Botswana, we are trying to improve the school recipes to ensure that they do carry some of the indigenous diets or food. Next slide. As Muzi has mentioned before, we can also try to embed indigenous foods in our dietary-based guidelines. For example, in Botswana, they are also promoting the Food Commission table, whereby they're just focusing on indigenous foods. And they also have done recipes focusing on indigenous foods. And this is something that we Africans can replicate in our own respective countries and to promote these nutritious indigenous foods that we do have and we're not making use of them. Next slide, please. I think I want to thank all of you that are here today. I will say merci beaucoup in French, asante sana in Africa, but I also want to highlight a quote from the late Nelson Mandela, where he said, "A movement without a vision is a movement without moral foundation." Africa has a vision. We have the Agenda 2063, and that is our vision. So I think we're on the right track. And this is why we're here today to promote what we know best, which is food. Thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Madam Walusi. It was quite interesting. I mean, from Madam Bibi to Dr. Pumuzi Sugati, so educational, so informative. But I think we do have questions. And I, as your moderator, I want everyone who is part of this webinar to pose some questions. You've touched on the importance of resource mobilization. We know how important that is. Where NEPAD is today, we want to tell our children that we did not just sit in these offices, but work had been done and so much still needs to be done. You've also said We need to cover all member states. So we need everybody to come to the party. And I'm sure with that, for me, I think political will is the most important thing. I think another thing that you've touched on was the not enough data. So we need to make sure that we collect sufficient data so that it can point us to the right direction. Thank you very much, Madam Mwalusi. Next on our program, it's a collection of recipes of indigenous foods prepared by generations of women of all regions. This is very interesting. These books are contributions to the preservation and sharing heritage and a platform to showcase the skills of rural women. To give us more insight and to tell us more, it's Me Kaladitema. She's the CEO and the founder of Indies Food. This is a culinary journey of South African indigenous food. Thank you, and over to you, Me Kaladi.
Thank you. I'm going to ask the host to start my video because I think you can't see me. Thank you. So we've been in this journey for some time. I'm a bioscientist by profession. I worked for the CSIR, and in those years, we were value adding into indigenous knowledge. And the indigenous knowledge is the food that you find in rural areas most of the time. So I'm going to ask, before I start, just to play the video so that you can see my journey when I was writing this book. This was funded by the Department of Arts and Culture. Can we play the video and then I'll speak after it? The host, we can't hear the music. Does it have the music background? Thank you very much. So that is our journey. That is our journey going in rural areas, meeting women who cooked indigenous foods, and they were the recipe contributors. And we chose schools that had consumer study as a subject. And these schools would then bring a woman in. We were very deliberate with that a rural woman share the skill with a younger generation so that they can appreciate indigenous knowledge. We are the advocate. You can see us on Twitter. We talk about indigenous food every day. And this cookbook has done very well. It's now a textbook for many universities and other schools of culinary. So we are very proud to have, had a chance to go around South Africa and unearth and publicize this indigenous knowledge. We took it even a step further. So the second video will show you the journey after the cookbook. We went back to the women and say, we want something that can sustain us. What is it that you have that we can take to market? And we thought the easiest way would be teas, indigenous teas. As you know, around COVID, Artemisia was a hit, and our business did very well. I mean, we were couriering Artemisia in Africa. Like we have it in tea bags. We are the only one who have Artemisia in tea bag. How cool is that? And we have Musukujani, your Lipia Javanica, or Musungkwane Kaspedi. We also have that. We know. Can you believe that one of our suppliers for Musukujani comes from them? Yes. So we collect this indigenous knowledge. Because I'm a bioscientist, I have a background of value adding, testing micros on the plants and things like that. We make sure that the product is safe for consumer. And we always claim traditionally it was used for, because we haven't tested in the lab. So we know we've been drinking these teas forever. We're just bringing it into the market in a beautiful brand, because I think one thing that we don't do well in Africa is branding ourselves. So let's see the next video and see how we have branded our rural indigenous medicinal teas. Thank you very much. So that is our journey of taking indigenous plants from rural areas. You know, when our old women see these teas, in the final form. They're so excited because they never thought, you know, they can see their product in pharmacies, on takealot.com, in many households, and people appreciating them. We did not add anything to these teas because we like them as they are. We have your Sutherlandia, Baibija Musha Peluanoka, meaning it revives your libido, and it's our best seller because people have challenges with diabetes and things like that. And yeah, they want alternative medicine, and we are here to support indigenous knowledge. I just want to ask Africa, let's do it together. You know, let's move from talking about it because rural economy is not growing. And it's my pain point. Rural economy is not growing. The reason you see migration from rural to the cities is because we are going to look for food. If not, I would be staying at 8 Gate number 3. That's my village where I come from. I could be staying there. And Mama Ivoni, every time I brew umkomboti, I think of you because, I mean, you know, it's the song, it's you, it's talking about it. And growing up as a small kid, my parents singing your music and playing your music, and that has made me love where I come from so much and say there was no need for me to move in the city if the rural areas economy was thriving. Indigenous knowledge is in the rural areas. Let's go there. We have logistics. If we can move product from the cities to rural, we can move indigenous foods from rural to the city. Let's open up the markets, and I ask from government as well to assist where we can, because you know, the other foods have, I mean, if quinoa, someone, I think it's Kifule say, if quinoa can get here from Latin America, I think it's Mama Bibi. If quinoa can get here from Latin America, Mopani must go there. People must appreciate what we eat. I thank you. I think I've said a mouthful. Thank you.
Wow. Wow, Kaladi Tema. I have smiles on my face. I just need to claim her. She comes from my village. She comes from my village. Did you tell them that I was a queen? Hamachaka. Kobutokwa. Did you tell them? Please do tell them. I have so much smiles. I have so much pride to know that, as I said in the beginning, Africa is not the dark continent that everybody believes it. There is so much for us to do and to claim what is ours, to see a young bioscientist from the rural village, for that matter. Hamachaka, 8 Cake number 3, my village, by the way, it's quite rural, but we've got what it takes. And we should be proud, you know, to be African for the food that we eat, things that we can do. Kaladi, I am so proud of you. And I'm very happy that my department, the Department of Arts and Culture, did support you to bring out this very beautiful book, which I hope each and every school can have. Thank you to NEPAD for doing this and for inviting you. With that said, oh, in fact, I want to say you have given indigenous food a modern twist. Thank you very much. And before we go to our chefs, I'm going to ask Rufilwe or Linda if they can read some burning questions or some comments from our people, because they've learned a lot, they've seen a lot, they can comment on whatever. Are there any comments, Rufilwe, before we move to our chefs? Is there anything that you want to read from our chat box, or is somebody going to comment or say anything? I think I'll only take 3. I'm a very strict moderator, just 3 burning ones. Please read them, or whoever is going to do that.
Okay, thank you, Madam Moderator. I think I'll let the floor to intervene, then I can read others later. The floor can ask questions, please. Raise your hand. Thank you. Is there any question or comments from the floor? Okay, while waiting for the questions from the floor, there is a, on the chat box on question and A, there's a question that says, how to support from, from Ngwe Bulaya Emmanuel, yes. He says how to support financially scientific research on indigenous foods. I think he wants to know how we can support the research on indigenous foods. Is there any questions from the floor before we answer the questions?
Yes, there is.
Okay. Please, you have the floor. Who asked who?
Maybe in the meantime, Madam Bibi can answer that question of supporting
Yes.
R&D.
Research. Yes.
Yes. Madam
Absolutely.
Bibi?
Yes, thank you very much. And thanks to the previous speakers. This is really exciting. I mean, I'm just smiling all the way to the sunshine of our continent. On the question of financing, of course, it is always tricky because, as you well know, there is not yet enough investment on food and nutrition as a subject matter, but more so on indigenous foods. However, what we are doing as AUDA, NEPAD, together with FAO and other partners, is to try to identify from the public sector and the private sector some innovative funding that can be channeled working with the academic and research institutions and indeed engage in the local community so that the benefits actually snowball to everybody. So I don't have a straight answer to that. However, rest assured that we are actually looking at that. And AUDA actually has a program called Grow Africa that is looking at adding value to some of our African foods and some commodities in general that can grow the small micro enterprise and medium enterprises on the continent to support the youth and women in that regard. So there is potential. I think all of us can put our heads together around how we can best finance.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Bibi. Sorry, Maybona, there's a question from Mr. Albert from Uganda. Mr. Albert, you have the floor now. Please unmute your microphone.
Hello, can you hear me?
We can
Hello?
hear you.
Yes, we
can
can.
hear you clearly.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Kachaka. My question is about, is there any written information on this indigenous knowledge, especially on food in different parts? It seems as if it is in one region. You would want to see from Maghreb, Africa, East Africa, in these different regions. Thank you.
Can we get the answer from maybe Mr. Sakutu or from Madam Walusi or Madam Bibi?
Yes, yes. Thank you so much, Mr. Albert, for that question. As I mentioned in my presentation, AUD and NEPAD and with other partners such as FAO have the Africa Consortium Group that actually do a research on your indigenous foods. And I think some of the institutions that we work with are from Uganda. And the idea is to actually preserve knowledge on indigenous foods, research or do analysis on the nutrient content of those forgotten foods or underutilized crops. So I think there's work that we are doing together with other partners to strengthen the knowledge in indigenous foods. I don't know if Madam Gios had something to add to what I just commented on.
Yeah, thank you, Fifi. Yeah, thank you, Fifi. As a matter of fact, before Muzi jumps in, which he will expound on, we do have what are called food composition tables. We have one for West Africa that looks at almost all the biodiversity. It is actually a publication that is already available. Now we are moving towards having a similar compilation for other regions of Africa. But this is the idea that one day Africa can have what are called food-based dietary guidelines so that we can be able, using our own indigenous foods, guide the communities on nutrition education, on food environments, and how they can best put nutrition on their plates using the knowledge systems that they have. So there is, yes, an opportunity there. So Muzi might wish to expound on this. And this compilation was done by FAO together with the regional economic communities. Over to you, Muzi, if you have something to add.
Yes, thank you so much, Bibi, and thank you so much, colleagues, for those very pertinent questions. Well, I've been busy typing away in the chat box because even though esteemed participants are not raising the questions in plenary, the chat box is really very, very, very full. So I've been trying to answer some questions there. But what I can notice is that many of the questions are centered around how do we now promote indigenous foods, well, maybe the neglected foods, such that people demand it. So I think one of the critical things is number one is consumer education. I think consumer education is very important. I was lucky to one day attend a seminar, an event organized by the RUFORAM. The RUFORAM is just a research consortium of all the universities in Africa. So they showcase the research that they do. So there is a lot of research that is done on these foods and their nutritional values. But unfortunately, this research is not being disseminated to the right audience. So a lot of these university people, they just write this top class research, which is just aimed at probably publishing a paper in a high profile journal, And if you read some of the research, if you are not an expert in it, you will not understand what they are saying. But there's a lot of information that is there on the nutritional values of some of these foods. So I think if we can use evidence, we try to collect all this research, we build the evidence, and we package the evidence in a user-friendly format that will be disseminated to the people that really need this information. It would be a very good way of, a very good step of advertising these neglected foods. For example, if I can quote an example, in Tanzania and also in Kenya, they have food-based dietary guidelines. They have translated the food-based dietary guidelines into local language such that it can be understood by even the local people who probably did not have the luck or the chance to get high quality education. So I think these are some of the means. We can also try other media that penetrate even the rural areas, including using cell phone, radios, etc. But at the end of the day, it is critical that we first build the evidence, so that when we get the information out there, it is based on research, on evidence, and it is aimed at addressing certain malnutrition issues that are occurring in certain areas of the continent. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. I think we've had questions, we've heard comments from our people. Please keep on sending them on our chat box, and our panelists and those who know better about food will answer your questions. Does Madame Refilo want to say something?
Yes, Madame. I just want to read a question which I think is also very pertinent from Dr. Mawuli Sabla from UNICEF New York headquarters. His question goes like, how do we incorporate indigenous cooking skills into curricula of schools and pass on indigenous knowledge to generations on indigenous foods and how to prepare, serve, and enjoy our local foods for improving nutrition? I think this will be answered in the next few minutes, where our chefs will showcase how we can incorporate our indigenous foods and promote our African foods regionally and globally. Over to you, Madam.
Thank you very much. This was very interesting. I'm a lover of food. I love my skin, I love myself, and I always say we are what we eat. And that is it. We are what we eat. Now, this session is dedicated to Africa's chefs who will be showcasing the nutritious indigenous meals that they've prepared for us. I cannot wait to see what our chefs have prepared for us. We have 4 chefs. We've got Chef Michelle from East Africa. We've got Southern Africa, Chef McJohn. We also have West Africa, Chef Ado. And we also have Central Africa, Chef Ta. And to show us what they have done, we are going to go with East Africa first. Chef Michelle, over to you.
Hello, thank you for this opportunity. The video is not working. My video has stopped. Hoping there's someone who can.
Ooh,
all right.
Video. Don't do that to us.
Tipo will help you. Tipo, please upload the video. Thank you.
Okay. So, hi everyone. My name is Michelle. I'm a self-taught chef, actually. I've been growing up loving how to cook, but the thing was I didn't know how to incorporate all these meals together. So it was a challenge for me to actually love indigenous food being younger. But later on that I understood how you can incorporate it to become so savoring and really delicious, I got to learn that by myself growing up through my grandmothers, through my mother, my family, the people all around me. So I realized like nutrients can be gotten by certain types of foods. You can get starch from potatoes, you can get this from plantains, you can get potassium, and you can have all that in just one plate. And that will help you like maintain a well-balanced diet. We'll see through the video that it's not just about throwing things in a crock pot and eat your food, but all about like how there is a process to actually attain what you really want to taste in your mouth and still be proud that, hey, that is my meal from home. I come from this part of the country and that's my food. So there's some certain types of food that I've made. This is mokimo. This is just like a spinach. Mokimo is a word for, it's used mainly by Kikuyus in Kenya. Tanzanians call it mokimo as well. And also Ugandans don't eat it as much. They eat plantains. So we have plantains as well. We also have ugali, but I brought a twist to it and wanted it to become like a really a dish that I can enjoy like frequently, and it was really, really good. So I did a twist with it. South Africans call it pap. They call it sima in Tanzania. They call it sembe in the western part of Kenya. Like they have different parts of how they call it, but it's still the same meal. They call it fufu in Nigeria, but this one has cassava. So you can tell that such nutrients come from just local places. You don't even have to spend money to get this food. It's just in the local markets, it's available. There's no products of GMO and supplements. It's rich in its own nutrients. And that's what's good about it. The fact that it's so natural with no chemicals, it's what makes it so alive, if so I can say it. So there's butternut ugali, which I decided to bring a twist in it. There's a chicken kuku ya kupakwa kienyeji. We call it that because once you cook the tomatoes and mix it with the chicken, there's this flavor that is not so wanting when you cook chicken. You know how you can make chicken and then you still taste the chicken? Sometimes kienyeji has that type of feel. And so to enjoy the nutrients that come with the kienyeji chicken, there's something that tomato does. The acidic part of it just goes like straight to the bones and gives it like lightens up the nutrients inside. And that mixture comes all together so well to the point where you're like, wow, it doesn't even taste like kienyeji chicken. And the youth in our days these days, they like, KFC, as mentioned earlier, burgers, all these fast foods. I mean, it's nice, I'm not complaining. But the fact is that it misses out on the nutrients that's really needed for your balanced diet, for blood sugar. A lot of youths these days are having like high blood pressure. And to be in such a young age and encounter such deficiency, diseases, it's the intake of the food that you're eating. So even with the food that I'm making, I avoid even putting like salt. So I'll use like probably a tablespoon or a teaspoon of soy sauce, which is more natural as compared to like putting, a lot of, sodium in your food, which can, cause like problems with the blood pressure and everything. So the video will basically explain part of the nutrients and how I incorporate my food into, something savory and also something that you can be proud of. I hope you enjoy.
Thank you.
Thank you. Help me press play. I can do it from here. Okay. I'm here to talk about food nutrition. And before we even get there, we need to talk about nutrients, what it is, what it entails, and what it does to the body. We want to see and talk about how local foods can be able to help you maintain a balanced diet in order to maintain a healthy and actually a good absorption of the body. We have in front of us potatoes, potassium, which are in the plantain. We have butternuts, tomatoes, onions, and two types of meat, which will use the red and the white. We have vegetables such as spinach, we have parsley, and also the garlic and ginger. This will be used to show that it's not, you don't have to have a boring meal for you to maintain a balanced diet. No, I will show you a way that you can be able to acquire a savory flavor with what is in front of us. I hope you enjoy the video.
Sorry.
Oh, I'm so excited. Join the call. Join now.
As you have seen, we've used local food substances to create the perfect balanced diet that's needed. And cases such as malnutrition has been happening in African countries. And this is not because we lack the accessibility to obtain such nutrients, but we have not been able, as a continent, we have not been able to focus on food nutrition and enlighten and put as much emphasis as we should. For example, if we look at the ingredients such as tomatoes, it has vitamin C, potassium, vitamin K, and it also reduces the chances of cancer. If you look at onions, it has benefits such as maintaining blood sugar. It's an antioxidant, and also it is an antibacterial property that it entails. So looking at garlic, which has been used to actually maintain and also reduce the cold and flus, as well as maintaining blood pressure. We look at ginger as an antioxidant, as well as helping in terms of nauseation and morning sickness, especially for the pregnant women. Foods such as butternuts has vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin E, magnesium, and potassium. You can tell that such foods have good substances for actually maintaining a balanced diet, which is actually good for food nutrition. So to enlighten more about food nutrition and what food substances have is one of the ways in which we can curb the malnutrition, diseases, and problems that are going on within even our countries to help curb certain diseases that are easily controllable. And this can be found with accessible foods that even our local countries entail. Food nutrition is not just about social and bringing up together. It also brings us economically, as we also get to share each other's cultures, Kenya, Uganda, and all neighboring countries. So this also even betters the economic state of neighboring countries within each other. So food nutrition is also something that brings us together, not only socially, but also economically.
Wow, is all I can say. I can clap my hands. Chef Michelle, young, and beautiful and a good cook.
Thank you. So we can say actually the one of the things that we can be able to curb and be proud of our indigenous foods. I remember Miss Yvonne, when you were in an interview, was it last week? You were being asked, what did you cook for Madiba when he came home? So we realized like we have to start within our homes to take it to the community, to take it to the nation, to take it to the continent. So for us to make a change of where and how we can be proud of the things that we should embrace, it should start within us. We should be able to actually like it. And the best way to actually like it is to not pretend that you like it, but actually make it good, flavorful, still maintain its nutrients. And when you were actually saying that you still cooked whatever that it was and presented that, that is actually being proud of your culture. And that is where like Africa needs to be all together, being proud of our indigenous foods, which even brings Pan-Africanism. So with that going on, we can be able to even share around with people the importance of all this, because African culture has just been known like you just eat your food as long as you're not hungry. But when you eat too much of proteins, there's this. When you lack too much of this, you can have too much of proteins and have kwashiorkor, then you can lack proteins and have a kwashiorkor. There's anemia. There's certain foods, you know, that when it's not enough, there's still some sufficiency that's going on. So to say, to also add to what Ms. Bibi said, it's not that malnutrition, it's not like Africa doesn't have the food that's available. No, it is that we haven't really emphasized so much on the point for actually people to recognize that it's an important thing. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much. So to all the young people who are watching, cooking is not for old people. Cooking starts in your home. I have a friend of mine, Tulim Tembu. She says, you know, I was lazy. I was lazy to clean. I didn't want my knees to be black. So I decided I will cook. And she started cooking. And today she teaches young people from disadvantaged communities to cook, indigenous food for that matter. So thank you very much, Chef Michelle from East Africa. And next on our program will be Chef McJohn. He is representing Southern Africa. Over to you, Chef McJohn.
Everyone, I hope you can hear me, all of you.
Yes, we can.
Fantastic stuff. Yes, you know, the previous speakers, especially Bibi, Muzi, and Kifilwe, you know, talked about how we shun indigenous food, how we look down upon our own harvest, as it were. I am here to demystify all that. There's nothing backward about African food, or rather indigenous food. There are actually two dishes I'm going to present. I hope my video is ready that side. Engineers, are you ready? But before that, let me just go through something here. I have two dishes. One is pane or mopane worms. It is only pane.
Your volume is very low, Chef McJohn. Tico, please, can you help us? We have the food on the screen.
You may continue, Chef McJohn. I have uploaded your picture of Mopane worms.
Okay, it looks like we have a problem with Chef McJohn, but we can see what he's prepared for us on the screen.
We lost him.
Chef McJohn. All right. For time's sake and things like that, can we probably go to the next either slide of Chef McJohn, showcase everything that he's done for us, because they did send videos. We need to be mindful of time. Is this Chef McJohn's presentation?
Yes.
Okay. Pity he can't explain to us what is what. We see beautiful things on the screen, but we're not sure what is what. At least I heard about Mopamni Wems.
Okay. Can I intervene here, Madam Speaker?
By all means.
Yes. Here, Chef McJohn wanted to present the turmeric cream samp with oxtail. This is the name of the dish. And we do have recipes from McJohn, so we'll put it as part of the report. All the chefs that have prepared the dishes today will ensure that the recipes are also being shared as part of the report. So don't worry much. We're sorry for that technical glitch. Thank you. Over to you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Madam Walusi. Sometimes technology does fail us, but at least we saw his face a little bit, and we've seen the food that he had prepared for us. Mopani Wems, which I know they love in Botswana, and my husband's tribe, which is Tsonga, they love Mopani Wems very much. And our next chef will be from West Africa. It will be Chef Ado. Over to you, Chef Ado.
Hello, thank you very much for the opportunity. I deeply appreciate. So for us, as a chef and also a food banker in Ghana, our focus is so much on foods that can be used within our educational sector as well as in our rural areas. We're looking at affordability. We came up with 2 recipes. One is called bean stew with a twist of contomere. These are this is a meal that is usually seen as meal that is reserved for those who can't afford that much. However, its nutritional value most often than not is underutilized. So we developed this recipe using beans as well as contomere, which is taro leaves. Then as well, we came up with a smoothie called Kofi Brokeman. In our local language, when we say Kofi Brokeman, meaning the guy is broke, is poor. In Ghana, when you are seen chewing anything that has to do with groundnut and then corn and with banana, you are presumed to not have that enough money. So that is the Kofi Brokeman smoothie. I wish the video will be played, and then once the video is finished playing, I just summarize it. Thank you.
Can our technician display the food that Chef Ado had prepared for us?
Hi, my name is Chef Elijah Amado, Executive Director of Food for All Africa in Ghana. As part of commemoration for the African Day for Food and Nutrition Security, I represent West Africa in presenting our traditional meal. We are preparing a traditional West African meal made with beans. I call it the bean stew with a twist of contomere. To prepare our iron-rich bean stew with a twist of contomere, you need beans, powdered fish, powdered shrimps, smoked salmon or smoked tuna, salted fish, tomatoes, ginger, powdered chili, palm oil, onions, garlic, And then our taro leaves in our local language called kontomire. First and foremost, we boil our beans. Here we wash and then boil it. It's been boiled already. Then as well, our kontomire, the taro leaves, you take in the water, you tear and then boil it for some few minutes. So you tear the taro leaves into the boiling water to boil for some few minutes. Yes. With our taro leaves now boiling, we have our pan on. Then we put in oil. After we put in our palm oil, we slice our onions. With our onions in, now our salted fish goes in. Oil it's for it to fry, and our taro leaves also boiling for about 3 minutes. We're going to pound our garlic and ginger in our traditional pounding bowl. Is cooking, so you take it off the fire. Then you add your tomatoes. After adding your tomatoes, we now put in the boiled taro leaves into our pounding to serve bean stew with a twist of taro leaves or kontomire. We are going to prepare wheat with rice, with brown rice, and serve along with it. So we use the same water we use in boiling the taro leaves. We put in wheat, additional wheat. We add a little water to or we use brown rice as well. We put in brown rice as well, but we leave the wheat to boil some few minutes before we put in the brown rice. So at this point, we're going to add our brown rice to the accompaniment, which is wheat and brown rice. We have to wash before dipping it into our So with the rice in, we add salt. So now back to our sauce. At this point, we add in our powdered fish. And then powdered shrimps. As well adding salmon. Flakes. With our salmon flakes, we now add our powdered chili pepper with stock. Stirring for some time. beans. We add a little bit of water. At this point, we press tallow for some few seconds, and then we dip it into our bean stew. There you go. So at this point, our bean stew with a twist of taro or contombre leaves, as we call it in our local language, is ready. Served with wheat and brown rice. So I'm dishing. Try this at home. There you go. Then we also serving stew with a twist of contombre. These ingredients are very easy to get across the continent. And as we commemorate the African Day for Food and Nutritional Security 2020, this is a simple recipe that is quite affordable and also accessible.
Bravo.
Wow.
And
That
now
was
please,
amazing.
the other recipe, very easy, 2 minutes to make.
Sorry, chef, I only have one.
Oh, okay. There was a smoothie as well. That recipe
Yes.
that was, yeah. All right.
Yes, thank you, Chef. We're going to share all the recipes because of time, and we'll showcase all the pictures as well that you shared with us as part of the report going forward. So be rest assured that your hard work will go places in Africa. Thank you.
All right.
Wow. That was
that's the end product.
That was amazing. Go ahead, Fifi.
All right.
Okay,
thank you
Chef.
very much for this opportunity. And for us, we believe introducing traditional ingredients into recipes that we put out there will go a long way to promote indigenous foods to other parts of the world. Most especially if we promote it locally first, it will be beneficial to tourists who would then take it to other countries, because we've had situations where we have tourists who visit Ghana, taste the food we prepare using local ingredients, and then they go back and they keep in contact with you, asking that you send them some of those ingredients. You send it to them and they as well use it. You give them recipes. So I believe the hospitality sector has a key role to promote in that effect. And that is one key thing that for us at Food for All, we add to the work we do in ensuring that we create efficient and sustainable means of nutrition. Thank you once again for this opportunity.
Thank you very much. That was Chef Ado from West Africa, to be specific, from Ghana. The food from all three chefs that we have seen was just amazing, tantalizing, inviting. The food says, eat me, eat me, eat me. And our last chef for today is from Central Africa, and it's Chef Tar. Is Chef Tar ready to display his food and tell us more about it? Over to you, Chef Tar.
Madam Moderator, I'm back.
Who is this?
Hello, everyone.
It's Chef who?
Chef Tar, madam.
This is Chef Tar.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Chef Tar is here. I think Chef McJohn wants to come back. Let's do Chef Tar, and then Chef McJohn, you can come and sort of give us a brief. Over to you, Chef Tar from Central Africa. Welcome.
Thank you, Madam.
Thank you.
Chef Ta from Arizan Restaurant, Ash Club. Okay, I want to propose to you my menu for today. I have ndole and miondo and arrow with water fufu. Please, the video.
First, we have a few walnuts and sweet curry. Our boiled cow meat is nice already. Stockfish, our fresh shapes, onions, and we have leeks, white pepper. Now we'll be having our mianda. And a sliced water leaf and a sliced boiled cow skin and a sliced fish, we normally call it bunga. We have our crayfish, palm oil, boiled cow meat, and we fill it with our water fufu.
That was Chef Tar. Was that the end of the presentation, if I may ask?
Yes,
Yes, that was the end of the video.
Okay. Anything to say to us, Chef Tar, about all the food that you'd prepared for us?
Madam, I am just happy for the opportunity you've given me. In fact, I'm very grateful to the forum. It's the first time for me to, have such experience. So I'm a little bit but I'm very happy. Thanks so much. Thank
Do you
you.
want to just give us a little bit brief of everything that you cooked so that people can know and understand, just even if it's for a minute, everything that you'd prepared for us?
Okay, let me start with the Eru. The Eru is normally food from the southwest region of Cameroon with most of the vegetables from our forest. Yes. And then with the watafufu made up of cassava and this thing, the ndole too. It's an original food from the Sawa people, that's from the littoral region of Cameroon. Yeah, food that is appreciated by so many people too. Made up of granite, bitter leaf, sweet bitter leaves, I would say so. And then with we have the normal stockfish, the Nigerian stockfish we all love, and fresh shrimps from our rivers here. Thank you, madam. That's all I can.
Thank you very much, Chef Tar, for that presentation and just this explanation. Well, everybody who is watching here, today is the day for Food and Nutrition Security Program commemoration. Thank you to Oda Nepad, thank you to Fao, thank you to all our panelists, thank you to our chefs, Chef Michelle, Chef McJohn, Chef Ado, Chef Tar. This has been very interesting, and it just gives me hope that, you know what, we can never go to sleep without food in Africa. If you just go to your garden and plant whatever, food can be there. Before I give to Mr. Sokutu, I have few quotes, and these are from very popular people that we all know. Jamie Oliver says, "My general rule is that if everyone knows how to cook fresh produce from their local area, and Monday to Thursday within 20 minutes, there's millions of recipes out there to be had." That is Jamie Oliver. And Anthony Bourdain says, "Food is everything we are. It is an extension of nationalist feeling, ethnic feeling, your personal history, your province, your region, your tribe, your grandma. It's inseparable from those from the get-go." That is Anthony Bourdain. This has been interesting and just so educational, people out there. I've learned a lot today, and I think and I hope that everybody will never, ever go to bed without food. Any comments, Madame Walusi, from our people out there or on the chat box before we give to Mr. Sugutu to close and thank everybody who have participated? But from me, I just want to thank Fao, thank Oda Nepad, thank Madame Kifilwe, thank Madame Bibi, thank Madame Sukutu, thank all our 4 chefs for this beautiful day. And as we said, this is our Africa. We need to make sure that nobody goes to bed without eating, and adhere to SDG number 2, that everybody has food, and make sure that when we talk of 2063 or 2025, everybody has nutritious food, but promote indigenous food. Over to you, Madame Mwalusi.
Thank you so very much, our beautiful moderator today, Princess Yvonne Chaka Chaka, our senior. Maybe we can sing for us, but before then, Chef McJohn is on standby, apparently waiting to showcase his Mopane worms. Chef John, are you available to give us a quick summary of your 2 dishes? Tiko, please, could you upload his dishes? Thank you. Chef McJohn?
you have my video? Are you able to play my video?
No, we can't play it because it didn't come through what do you call it? The other one, it doesn't play well through WhatsApp. So you have to speak to the dish now that is displayed on the screen.
Okay.
To save time.
Okay, just quickly, but maybe I'll just present it, just this particular one, the one you are seeing on the picture.
Thank you.
The Mopani one. Just to take some of our panelists who may not come from our region, who don't know what Mopani worms are. These are only found in Southern Africa, and they grow from a particular, they breed from a particular tree called Mopani tree. And this tree is only found in Southern Africa, like South Africa, Namibia, Botswana, Zambia, Zimbabwe. And they are normally gathered around February to March. I'll tell you something about what is happening, because I read an article just a few days ago. There's a business paper which was published by Barclays International. They are talking about now the world going the direction of eating insects, bugs, and things like Mopani, because of what they call bug protein. Because bug protein apparently is going to explode into an $8 billion US business by the year 2030. And and I'm talking about Europe and the Americas, and this comes from Africa. This takes me back to what the previous speakers were saying about us Africans shunning our own food. That there's absolutely nothing wrong with our food. There is nothing backward about our food. So and I'm told that companies like Nestle Foods, like Pepsi and Tyson in the United States, they are busy now packaging all these things which contain what they call bug protein. And I'm saying we should go back to the crossroads as Africans and rediscover our indigenous foods and package them and take them out to Europe, for the market, and then we make money for ourselves. And then, like someone was saying, I think it was Madame Yvonne was saying, there's no reason why anybody in our continent should go to bed hungry when we have things growing abundantly in the wild.
Sorry, Mac John, could you please come closer to your microphone or speak a little bit louder? We're struggling to hear you.
Is it? Okay. But going back to the dish, this is Mopani worm with musutani rice. Musutani is de-hulled sorghum. Very, 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 highly nutritious. And people talk about, especially dietitians, they always talk about musutani being good for people who are recovering from illness. You're recovering, you're convalescing patients, when they come out of hospital, mainly when you serve them this thing, it enhances the healing properties that may be found in their body when they were taking medicine when they were in hospital. And with Mopani worms, very packed with protein and very good alternative for meat. If you want to move away from meat, especially red meat, because red meat causes all sorts of things, non-communicable diseases. So people are advised by medical practitioners to cut down on meat, and taking Mopani worms is just the best way to a good excuse to keep away from meat. And it is also good for pregnant mothers. I'm told by experts that pregnant mothers should take a lot of Mopani worms because it helps with the growth of the baby. Back to you, Madam.
Thank you very much, Chef McJohn, for this beautiful presentation. Well, I think today has just been a great day. There is so much that needs to be done, but I want to congratulate each and every one of you for showcasing this beautiful food from Chef Michelle, Chef McJohn, Chef Ado, Chef Eta, and Madame Khaladi Tema. I want to thank you for that beautiful booklet. I also want to thank Madame Bibi Giose, thank Madame Kifilwe Mwalusi, thank Mr. Muzi Sukati. To all of you, you've just been amazing. I want us to know the importance of promoting and making sure that we consume a lot of indigenous food. It is important. I also want to say the report will be shared with all of you, all the participants, when we are done with this. From me, I want to say thank you very much and ask Mr. Muzi Sugati to close this beautiful session for all of us. Over to you, Mr. Sugat.
We need a beautiful song from you, Madam.
Madam, I only sing for money. I'm an inspiration, bringing education on gender equalization. So much sensation, feel the vibration, singing peace to the nation. I bring life to this earth, recognize my worth. Goba mina gilikawe. Tomorrow is for my children, the future we can change, the world we will rearrange. I am courage, passion, efficiency. I'm a woman, well-organized man. I'm so different, but equal with a meticulous plan. Let me show you who I am. I'm a woman. Thank you. Over to you, Mr. Sugat.
Thank you.
Brilliant.
Thank you, Ember, so much. When I was coming to work in the morning in the Uber, they played one of your songs, one of my all-time favorite, and I decided that the Uber should take a long route so that the song will finish this morning. Yes. So thank you so much for those for your kind word, Madam Chaka Chaka. I would like to thank you so much for gracing this event and making it so colorful. We really appreciate your contribution to driving the theme of ending hunger in all forms of malnutrition in the continent. And indeed, you are our great ambassador. We would like to say thank you so much. And I would also like to thank African Union, AUC, NEPAD, and AUDA. You've been our very good partners as FAO. We really appreciate this collaboration. And I believe this side event has been very educational, and a warm and special thanks to the chefs that came today and to the robustness of the discussions, your menu. I am hungry actually now. From here, I'll just go straight to look for Chef Ado for something to eat. Thank you so much for gracing this event. It's been very good. Unfortunately, sometimes we had internet issues. The quality of the connection was not good. I think it happens all the time during this virtual, the virtual times that we are living in. Nothing is perfect. The internet connections go wrong all the time. That is why I believe that as an early warning system, the next pandemic will be an IT shutdown. It's what I suspect, because we rely so much on these virtual things, our banking and everything, and our lives depend on it now. And if we don't have very good internet connections, a lot of things just stop. So thank you so much, and please bear with us for the small glitches, and thank you so much for the robust participation. We want to also emphasize our continued collaboration with the African Union, AUDA, and other stakeholders who are champions for nutrition. And I thank I thank everyone who participated, my fellow panelists, Kefile and Bibi. We've teamed up. I think we've done a good job, and the participation was very good. And I'm sure participants will go home with some renewed vigor around promoting indigenous foods. So everyone who has been here is now our champion. Let us go and get the message out there. And with that, I say thank you, obrigado, merci beaucoup.
Well, thank you very much. Right smack on time. It's 2:59. You know, sometimes webinars take a long time, but we're right smack on time. It's 3 o'clock. To everybody, I want to say thank you. This was the most beautiful Africa Day for Food and Nutrition Security Program commemoration. To all of you, all our participants, and everybody, let us build the Africa that we want. Thank you very much from me. Asante, merci beaucoup, danke, siyabonga, nina bebnene.
Thank you.
Rialebohama.
Thank you.
Thank you very much to everybody, and thanks to Linda.
Yes.
Muito obrigado. Muito obrigado.
Muito obrigado.
Thank you very much.
Thank you
everyone.
to all the participants. Thank you so much, the chef. Sorry for bothering you, but you delivered exceptionally well. We are so grateful. And like Moses mentioned, we're going to continue working together. Next year, there won't be COVID, so we have a face-to-face interactive session. No more Zoom, whatever they call it. So we'll be like facing each other. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much to everyone.
This is only the beginning. I want to say to the world, here comes Africa in all its color, splendor, and impact. Watch this space.
Indeed, indeed. And
Thank
we are
you,
going to be
Bibi.
sharing the presentations